I spent 16 years in Cambodia. I discover new things almost every day. And people are very open. They want to discuss, and they are happy to give you information and to know you, and that's also very nice. I mean, the Khmer people are so nice.
So good morning, Mr. Pascal Médeville. And thank
Carla.
you so much, Mr. Pascal, for granting Cambodianess the opportunity for the interview in Siem Reap again. Mr. Pascal, you have been in Cambodia for 16 years in total.
Yes.
Your first arrival, I suppose it's 2010.
Yes,
When
exactly.
you come here, and then you leave for, for 16 consecutive years until today. And now you are visiting Siem Reap, sir. And you are a person who is very interested in Khmer culture, in history, and also, how our culture interact with other nations in the region, sir. So my first question is that, what makes you feel interested in Cambodian culture in the first place, sir? I mean, is that something from your childhood memory, or you discover along the way when you learn about Asia or something like that, sir?
Well, actually, I first learned Chinese in Paris, in the National Institute of Oriental Studies. First began to learn Chinese, and then I wanted to learn a second language. And at that time, I was giving, study support to Khmer children in France. So I wanted to learn also the second language I chose is Khmer. So I've been learning Khmer since 1991. I began Chinese in 82, and Khmer in, let me check. Well, anyway, I've been learning Chinese and Khmer in France. So I was interested in Khmer culture. I first came in 1992 for a brief 2 weeks, and then came again 2 times in 2008 and 2009.
So when you learned Khmer in 1992, you learned Khmer with a Cambodian teacher or with a French teacher?
No, I was learning Khmer at university, and we had a French teacher and also Khmer teachers. I learned for 3 years, and after that I went to Taiwan for 3 years, came back to France, and then again 10 years in China, from 2000 to 2010. And after 10 years in China, I was a little bit fed up, so I wanted to change, to go to another country. I came 2 times in Cambodia in 2008 and 2 times in 2009. And the second time in 2009, I brought my wife at the moment. She's Chinese, and just to see if she would agree to move to China with our kid. I also wanted my kid to have to study in a French school, not in China. So I brought my wife, and she says, okay, we can move. So in 2010, I moved with my wife and my kid in Cambodia.
So that is when you started to discover the culture and the history of Cambodia from 2010 onward?
Before that, because I learned Khmer in France, in university, and I learned a lot of course, language, but also culture, history, etc. And I've always been interested in Cambodia from that time.
Yes, Mr. Pascal. But for example, which part of the Cambodian culture that interests you the most? For example, like the history from Angkor, or maybe pre-Angkorian, or maybe the recent history. Which part of the history?
At first, I was interested in Angkor history, because that's the most obvious people, the subject that everybody hears about. And I saw some beautiful pictures of Angkor, and I wanted to check by myself. But when I arrived in 2010, I discovered that was much more things beyond Angkor. Angkor is a big part, of course, but not only Angkor, and not only the history, also the culture in general. I mean, the literature, the people also. One of the reasons why I stayed in Cambodia, because of the people, because most of the Khmer people are so nice, so friendly, and wanting to help. And I interact with Khmer people very well.
Yes, Mr. Pascal. Back to the main theme that we are going to discuss today. We discuss about, how we define cultural economy, and how we try to utilize it for example, to show Cambodia to the global stage. So in your perspective, sir, because you have dived deep into culture, how culture can contribute to the economy of a country, sir? Maybe starting from Cambodia, and also maybe some examples that you see in the region, maybe from your own country, how French use its own culture to spread, its idea, its fame to the world. So how do you connect culture and economy together?
Now, for French people, Indochina is very special because we stayed here in Cambodia we stayed for 90 years, a little bit longer in Vietnam, and a lot of French people wrote their memories about their stay in Indochina in general. And most of the people, they are very positive in what they're writing about Indochina. So to French people, it seems that Indochina is it's mysterious, but also a very nice place.
What do you mean mysterious, sir? Because the
culture is different, the language is different, the way of thinking, the way of doing things is completely different. But in the recent history, most of Western people know Cambodia through what? Through Khmer Rouge and through pedophiles. And Khmer Rouge is past, and there's pedophilia. Khmer government has worked very well against this. So I think that there's much more about Cambodia than Khmer Rouge and pedophiles. So I think we need to promote and to explain to people, to Westerners, what Cambodia is. Because Cambodia, of course, you have the temples, but not only the temples. You have the food, you have the people, you have the literature also. Most of the people don't know anything about Khmer literature. But you have also ancient poetry, like Tumkir. You also have novels, and you have arts also. Art is very important in Cambodia. You have dance, of course, but you have paintings, you have sculpture, you have many things about Cambodia that is very interesting, that should be very interesting for Western people. And I think it's important that we try to explain to people that Cambodia is much more than Khmer Rouge.
But by explaining them, how do you communicate, something so complex and so sometimes subjective like culture to another culture, let's say across the world, halfway across the world, and in order to let them understand and also to let them enjoy it, and then to let them come and see it by their own eyes. What are the ways that you communicate culture in that way?
I think it's important that you explain things in a simple way. Because people are not, there are many very interesting and very profound studies about Cambodia culture or temples or religion, but most of the people it's too complicated for them. So you have to take one simple subject and explain it quite in a simple way. So people, it's easy for them to understand. And after that, when they come in Cambodia, when they eat, I don't know, like amok or samlo proha or food, they read something, they know what they're eating. They understand what they're eating. No need to give a very complex and complete recipe how to cook the fish and coconut juice or coconut cream.
You mean most people do not care about how it is cooked? They only care how it came to be as a Cambodian cuisine, something like that.
I think most of the people don't cook, and even if they want to cook, most of the ingredients you cannot find in US or in Europe. But I think they will be very interesting in knowing what they are eating. For instance, for eating amok, it's made with freshwater fish. You have coconut cream, you have some ingredients, you have some herbs, and very simple, short, maybe one short paragraph. They know what they're eating, and it's the same for for everything. Even for the temple, sometimes when you go to see the bas-relief at Angkor Wat, you cannot understand if you don't know the culture, if you don't know the DMK, or if you don't know the Khmer history. You see the sculpture of Suryavarman II, who built Angkor Wat, but you don't know. Sure, because nobody, except you have a guide, but sometimes the guide is a bit difficult. But it's fine to discover by yourself. For instance, on my website, Wonders of Cambodia, I put just one picture of Suryavarman II and just 3 or 4 lines to explain who is this guy. right? So the people, when they go to see Angkor Wat, if they read the article with this picture, say, "Oh, I recognize that is the king who built Angkor Wat."
So if you give too much information, you feel like the readers will not catch it.
If it's too
entirely?
complicated, too long, people don't read that much. They are not willing to read whole books, 300 or 500 pages before they come to Cambodia. You have to keep it simple, and you have to keep it accessible to people who read English. If it's too complicated, too long, people will get bored, and they say, "Oh, I don't need to know that much. I just need to have an idea and explain to me what it is, and that's fun."
But in your website, you also wrote, some long article also.
Yes.
So how do you know when, a subject should be short, when a subject should be long? I mean, how do you, choose between the two?
How can I say that? Some things are important. I want this website to people can find anything they want about Cambodia. Well, it's far from complete right now, but in 1 year I published something like 1,000 articles on many different subjects. And when I began to write, to create this website, I was wondering, will I have enough subject to write something every day? Actually, I have so many subjects, so many things. And some maybe when I have categories, who's who. Who's who is mean I present some people who are important to Cambodia. Kings, but also French explorers like Henri Moore.
Archaeologists.
Archaeologists or epigraphists. And now also I add some Khmer artists, contemporary artists. And so people, if they want to know more about one person, they can check. But sometimes also the subject is important. For instance, if you want to present Banteay Seret Temple, you have to explain a little bit. Not too long, but maybe 1,000, 1,200 words. And if people, before they go to visit Banteay Seret, they can learn a little bit more about this, if they want. But I also have I have a picture of the day. Every day I put a different picture. And it's about food, it's about plants, it's about temples, or it's about religion. And maybe people just type the subject they want to know about in the search box, and they got some information. And it's up to them if they want to choose a long article or a short description.
Yes, Mr. Pascal, I mean, you have created a website which is called Wonders of Cambodia.
Yes.
And inside I have seen a wide variety of subjects. For example, you talk about many parts of Cambodian culture, history, food, and also especially the thing that interests me the most is that you give a recommendation, you give advices to people who wish to stay in Cambodia, or who wish to stay in Siem Reap or Phnom Penh in particular, sir. So the reason why you create Wonders of Cambodia, is it you see that the lack of information for expats living in Cambodia? Is that the case?
Actually, I created this to promote Cambodia and to present Cambodia to the world, to all the English-speaking people. I also have Khmer part, and the Khmer articles are very popular. So it means that the people are very Khmer people want to learn more, or to read what the foreigners think about Cambodia. Also have in French, in Chinese, and in Vietnamese. And my aim is to present Cambodia as it is. I'm not partisan. I don't have any political opinion in Cambodia. That's not my country. So I don't want to mix with Cambodian politics. But from a very, I would say, objective point of view, I want to present Cambodia to the people. And when I'm on the social media, very often I see people asking questions about how to get a visa, how to create a company, how to stay here. So I also want to present people with information that's up to date, explain to them how to get a visa legally, how to create a company, question about taxes, and that's everyday life, And also where to stay in some hotels, or where to eat some food in some restaurant. So they have very practical information. And also, as I explained a minute ago, I want people to know more about Cambodian culture, Cambodian history, Cambodian geography, and but in a simple way, not too deep. A deep understanding of some other subjects, you have other websites like Encore database, which is very nice, a lot of very precise information in depth. But that's for people who are researchers who want to research about Cambodia, but not for the people who are just interested in Cambodia, know a little bit, want to know a little bit more. So the Wonders of Cambodia is, I think, general knowledge about Cambodia for everybody. And it's like general culture. I mean, when you have some culture, you know a lot of things in different areas. For instance, for me in Cambodia, I was interested in Cambodia before coming, but since I arrived in 2010, I discovered a lot of new things that I didn't know. And sometimes very small details, For instance, this morning I published a small description of some Prohar. So people that there's kind of soup and with a lot of things inside and a lot of spices and maybe only 3 or 4 lines, very simple, so people know about this. Before that, I published an article about, pomegranate, totem, plai totem, because the picture was nice, and maybe some people don't know about this fruit because it's not very common in France or in Western countries. Sometimes just a picture of sculpture on a temple or and just give a few words, so people that just can check and understand about this.
So sometimes a small scoop from this and there can make some visitors feel like they want to explore more about the country.
In English they say one picture is worth 1,000 words. So you see just one picture and you see a lot. You can imagine the small short explanation, you can understand a lot more than if you were to read a long article to describe the fruit and what. Well, it's also interesting, but I think that's not what most other people would like,
Yes, Mr. Pascal. But back, a bit more than culture, because culture alone is not what makes people come to Cambodia. Sometimes they come here to study, they come here to work short term, or they come here to do business.
Yes.
So in your Wonders of Cambodia website, you also show a lot about the part where Cambodia offer healthcare benefit.
Yes.
Bososo, for example,
yes.
And also you talk about taxation, you talk about electricity bill. Why do you include those things as well? Is it because like you feel without those information, foreigners will find it a harder time to understand Cambodia? That is why you give those information out.
I give this information because I saw people asking questions about this on the social networks. And I think it's important also to know not only about the temples, but also about everyday life.
Yes.
How you pay taxes, how much you have to pay, how to get a visa, how to pay your electricity bill. It's very simple, very basic information, but if nobody tells you that, how do you know how to do it, right? And when I decided to come to Cambodia, first thing I was checking is how to get a visa, how to rent a home, how to go my kid to go to French school or other school. So also need this everyday life information. It's important for people who want to live here or just are curious,
So the thing that you have been learned for the past 16 years, you added your own opinion, and then the thing from the administration website, something like that.
I don't give opinion,
Not
I just
opinion,
describe how it is. I don't say it's good or it's wrong. Even I think like Bososo, I think it's very good for people. And it's interesting also for people to know that when in Cambodia, some people, not everybody, but some people have social security. And that's very important to know, because nobody knows that in Western country. You just imagine that Cambodia is very poor and very retarded, but actually, it's easier to live in Cambodia with the internet is working better, or paying it's easier in Cambodia than in France, for instance. So you think that from that point of view, Cambodia is much more advanced. On other, like the social security, not as good as is France, but it exists and it's getting better and better. Now that because before it was only for people who are employed by a company, so it leaves all the people, the farmers and the informal workers and freelancers, they don't have bososo. But they are talking about this, NSSF, in English we say NSSF. They are thinking of a way to have other people also benefit from NSSF, which is very important. Because now in Cambodia, if you don't have an SSF, you have to pay the bill by yourself. And it's very expensive.
Yes. Yes.
And many people, they are in deep debt, huge debt, because of their family, their father or cousin or everything. Because in Cambodia, family is so important. You have somebody, a member of your family who is ill, everybody has to help, And sometimes it's very difficult because the medicine and the medical in Cambodia is very expensive, like anywhere.
And do you think that your description, your articles, or maybe your advice also help those who try to come to live or visit Cambodia? Have you any comment from them that thank you to your article, something like that?
Yeah, some people give some feedback, and well, I hope it's useful. What is sure is that it's verified. The information I give is verified and it's true and it's correct at the time I write, because sometimes it changes, And yes, I think it's useful for people who want to come to Cambodia, maybe immigrate or work or create a company and that kind of stuff. But I try to be always, I don't give advice, I'm not an advisor. I don't give advice, I just describe the facts, how they are, and try to be correct. And if I made some mistakes, sometimes I just correct the article, write and explain to it.
Yes, Mr. Pascal. Back to the side about Siem Reap, for example, some people, they might say that okay, Siem Reap, they have been here for 1 or 2 or 3 times, and then they said, I don't know what to look, further. I don't know what else to explore because I think I've seen all. But for you, you said just now, you have seen many things in Siem Reap. Your second trip, your third trip, your 10th trip, you still discover something new. So how do you, keep yourself curious about Siem Reap? I mean, what angle do you try to look in order to look more, not to get bored?
Yes. First of all, I discover new temples or new places each time I come. Each and every time, because there's hundreds of temples in the area, you cannot see everything on one week or even 10 days. So each and every time I come, I discover something new. Another thing, I learn more about Cambodia. It means that when I watch to the bas-relief in Angkor Wat or in Baiwan, I see things that I didn't see before because I didn't know. For instance, I published a very small description with the archer and crossbowmen on Bayonne. So you have 2 archers and 2 crossbowmen, and I didn't pay attention to that before. Until I learned about, I visit a guy who is near from Angkor, who is making bows from like ancient bows, like in the time of Angkor Wat. And so I discovered also he has bows, but there are also crossbow. And I didn't pay attention before, but this time, it was last time, maybe 1.5 months ago, I just went to see again the Bayonne bas-relief, and I just see 2 bowmen and 2 crossbowmen, 2 archers and 2 crossbowmen. So it was interesting because I didn't pay attention before. And if I go to a place when before, each and every time I discover new things, like the Apsara in Angkor Wat, there are so many, and you watch the details, their hairdress and the way they dress and the way their attitude. It's sometimes very funny. You discover something new. Well, in Cambodia, of course, you have temples everywhere in the country, not only in the Siem Reap. You can go to Battambang, you can go to Kampong Thom to see Sambong Prikuk, you can go to Pravihe. Of course, you have the Pravihe temple, but you have also the temples in Koke, and yeah, you have many different places to discover in Cambodia. But not only temples, you know. You go in Kokong province, or you go in Sihanoukville or Kep, you can see the seaside. You can have very tasty, very fresh seafood. So nice. Yeah, in Cambodia, each and every part you have not only temples. You have different food. You have different different places you can see. Like you go in I don't know, like Crotier. You go to Crotier, you have not so many temples, but you have the dolphins, you have the turtles, you have also special food in Crotier. A little bit quiet. At Crotier also you can go to the island, so very funny with the you know the how do you call that fruit? Pamplemousse in French we say pamplemousse. Pomelo, yeah.
Pomelo, yes.
Yeah, pomelo. And well, everywhere in Cambodia you can find different things, not only temples. Let me take an example. Yeah, you go to Kampong Thom, you have some pagodas that are very funny. You go to Kampong Cham, also some pagodas, or the site near the river. Yeah, you can. I spent 16 years in Cambodia. I discover new things almost every day.
Yes, Mr. Pascal. And maybe the last question to you also, based on your opinion and maybe your expectation. What do you expect, let's say, from the people or maybe from the administration in order to help make let's say the experience of expat in Cambodia better in the future? I mean, what are the things that you want to see for future expat coming to Cambodia?
You know, one thing I need to say is about the visa.
The visa.
You know, you have neighboring countries like not Laos, but Thai, Vietnam, even now China or Taiwan. You don't have to pay for the visa. The visa is free. So people, they just think why do I have to pay in Cambodia? I mean, now for Chinese people it's visa free, but for other nationalities you have to pay for the visa. So maybe that's not a lot of money. But that's people just think, oh, why do I have to pay in Cambodia? I don't have to pay in Thailand or in Vietnam. And also, I read an article about a guy who was saying that the tickets of Angkor to visit Angkor are too cheap. I don't agree. You mean you go to China to see the Great Wall or to see the Forbidden City? The ticket is not that expensive. It's much cheaper than the ticket for Angkor Wat. So, well, the guy who wrote this is Khmer. He doesn't need to pay the ticket. That's okay. I also don't care because since I'm long-term resident, I have a special pass. I don't have to pay also. But think about a family of 4 or 5. They come to Cambodia. Each and everyone has to pay a ticket. At the end, it's a lot of money. So maybe also, I understand that the income from from the tickets for Angkor Wat is quite important. It's important for the renovation of the temple, for everything. But yeah, it's quite expensive now. I think it's quite expensive. I don't think raising the price would be a good idea. Also, I'm talking with a French friend, and they say I love Cambodia. It's a beautiful country, and each time I say that, he sends me a picture with garbage, on the road or even on the Angkor Wat Park. I think it's also should make some effort to keep the environment clean,
more clean.
Yeah, cleaner. But no, I love Cambodia. I love the Khmer people, because I can speak Khmer, I can interact with Khmer people more easily, It's easier for me. But even if you don't speak Khmer, you're a foreigner, you speak a little bit English. Here a lot of people also speak a little bit English. And people are very, very open. They want to discuss, and they are happy to give you information and to know you, and that's also very nice. I mean, the Khmer people are so nice. Khmer people are so nice. That's one of the reasons why I want to stay in Cambodia and don't want to leave. I mean, people in China most of the time are not so nice, and that's also one of the reasons I wanted to leave China after 10 years.
But how about the medical sector, or maybe the transportation, sir? Like, for as an expert, do you feel like it is okay to
transportation is okay. I mean, from one city to another, you can hire a taxi, or you can hire you buy a bus ticket. It's sometimes slow, but it's okay. It's quite comfortable. Within the cities, it's so easy. You know, you have hailing apps, and when you're in Phnom Penh or Siem Reap or Battambang or Kep or Kampot, you just use your app and you order the hailing you want. You know, it's very easy and very affordable. Transportation is not a problem at all, I think.